Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of It Follows. Smile. I'm probably going to do that a couple more times, yeah, it's a review of Smile. It's on Paramount Plus right now with audio description. I'm a blind film critic, so that's why we talk about audio description, because I need it. Paramount Plus did cut off and try to throw me into something else. So unfortunately, I did not get to figure out who did the audio description. My best guesstimate, based on the voice, is Roy Samuelson. That is my guess. I'm about 75% on that. There are some people in the industry that don't work as much, that kind of sound like Roy. So every once in a while I get thrown that curveball of, oh, it's the guy that sounds like Roy. Cool. But Roy works enough that I'm gonna go with him on this one. I would say I have to talk about the film. So I'm not gonna give huge spoilers, but if you don't know what Smile is, you will. During this review, I have to talk about it. I have to be able to give you some sort of context as to why this film either does or does not work, why I did or did not like it. So people who are trying to leave people mysteriously into, ooh, what is Smile? Yeah, if you want to go watch Smile, then go watch Smile. I don't know. Don't watch reviews of it. If you're that interested in it, just go do it. But we're going to talk about it, because that's what I do. The film stars Sosie Bacon. Yes, that last name gives you a clue of how she got into Hollywood. It stars Sosie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher from The Boys, who is a terrible actor whenever he's not in The Boys. Kyle Gallner, Robin Weigert, and Cal Penn. So that's kind of the big five here. Especially notably, who you would actually know. You'd be like, oh, I've seen them before. The film is directed by Parker Finn, who, as best as I can tell, I think he's done stuff for Shudder. So this was originally designed to be a Paramount Plus release, which is why it still has Paramount Players. A long time ago, I discussed how Paramount Players is Paramount's division of like straight to streaming, straight to video stuff. When I saw it, I think on senior year, which they shopped out to Netflix. And this still has Paramount Players on it. The thing was, when they made it and they tested it, it tested through the roof. So they bumped it up to a theatrical release instead of sending it straight to Paramount Plus. So this thing became a real movie. It became a real boy like Pinocchio. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean it's great. It just means that test audiences are easy to please. Or they've never seen It Follows, which is entirely possible. If you've never seen It Follows, this movie will work for you, because It Follows worked for everybody who saw It Follows. However, Smile, when you watch Smile, if you've already seen It Follows, is not as effective. And is actually kind of obnoxious, to be totally honest. So, Smile takes Sosie Bacon, is a doctor. She's a psychiatrist with a somewhat traumatic past herself. When she was a little girl, she saw her mom die. And now she's a psychiatrist, and she's working with patients who are varying levels of, manic depressive and have different diagnoses. And there's this emergency case that comes across her path. It's a woman, and she really believes she's going to die today, and that something has been coming for her, and only she can see it. And then something happens, and our lead, Sosie Bacon, is there to witness, And because she's witnessed the thing that the other girl was talking about now affects her. And that sort of sets out the rest of the movie. It sort of follows, instead of It Follows, which sort of has the formula of technically if that thing had been passed to you, it could get to you like right away type of thing. There isn't like, it's not gonna like wait for you. It doesn't have time. It just comes straight for you. This one is more like The Ring in the sense of once you get cursed, it likes to fuck with you for a few days. So she's got like a little bit of The Ring thrown in there, where she has a few days to sort of figure out the stuff, which is really convenient. So that way the audience has some time to figure out what's going on, what are the rules here, what's happening. And it gives the film and Mr. Parker Finn, the lovely untalented Parker Finn, I didn't study there, it gives him plenty of time to throw in as many cheap jump scares as humanly possible. If I never see another Parker Finn movie, I will not be sad. First of all, he wrote and directed this film, and it's just a knockoff of It Follows. I mean, it's literally, It Follows came out years ago, and if he wrote this and didn't go, this feels a little bit like It Follows. What do I do with this? How do I make this different? I think I've made this enough different, and then you didn't make it enough different. It's very much It Follows. It just doesn't revolve around STDs. So our main character is haunted by something that only she can see, and every time she tries to convince somebody else, nobody else can see it. And it's this thing that sort of plays with and is inside her head, so she's not even sure whatever she's seeing is real. It just kind of, it allows for a lot of jump scares, and it makes her look absolutely insane because she sees something that terrifies the shit out of her that nobody else will see. Jesse T. Usher is the weirdly non-supportive boyfriend, just kind of there. He just exists. He acts like he's supportive, but I don't know. It's just a weird performance from Jesse T. Usher. I like him in The Boys, but when he started out in Independence Day Resurgence way back in the day, I remember reviewing that and being like, I hope I don't see him again. He's, when you can't have Will Smith and you bring Jesse T. Usher into something, you've completely missed what it was about Will Smith that made him work. And you just replaced him with any random black guy in that film because you're like, oh, we need one, because Will Smith was in the first one, and Jesse T. Usher has no charisma. I think it's one of the reasons he works as A-Train so well in The Boys is he's not likable in The Boys. So here, he's just kind of wasted. He doesn't really offer much to the film. Kyle Gallner, as sort of an ex-boyfriend cop person, has a little bit more to do, I guess. He's fine. The film does something with him later on in the film that just has no explanation. It just doesn't make sense. I can't talk about it because it's past the point of spoilers. It's past the point of no return. They take his character in a direction that just, for the sake of, I need this to happen because the film needs this to happen, not because it makes any sense. Robin Weigert does a good job as the therapist. She actually has the creepiest scene, which I've been told is in the trailer. So, the best scene in the film is in the trailer. Congratulations. Cal Penn is, like an extended cameo almost. He plays her supervisor at the hospital facility, and you would think that any one of these people really get involved. Some stuff happens to Cal, but it's like a nightmare. So I guess, I don't know. It's mostly nothing ever happens because there's no real threat. It's just a threat to her. Like the threat is all inside her head. So she sees all these terrible things, and some of them are really gory. I'm not going to say it's not gory, and I'm not going to say that the film lacks scares. If you are in it for jump scares, this is your film. This is absolutely your film. This is the jump scare extravaganza. This film has the most obnoxious jump scares in history. So a lot of them you'll see coming, some of them you won't, and one of them is earned. One of them is an earned jump scare, where you actually feel like it was set up well enough and should have seen that coming. Do you know what I'm saying? Like and it makes sense. It's not just, but no, it has a lot of like random faces just popping out of nowhere. It, it has the thing where the sound drops out, and you just kind of like keep listening and listening and listening. There's one thing where she keeps turning up the volume on something, and I was just like, God, are you okay? Obviously, come on now, you know. I was just expecting, because by this point in the film, there's already been multiple jump scares. The first jump scare got me, but it was cheap. And it's not really a scare. It just made me jump because it's not scary, but it will make you jump. And it's one of those, I always go back to Signs with M. Night Shyamalan. He has a lot of great jump scares in that film, a lot of great oh shit moments. But he also has the one where the dog just jumps up at her out of nowhere and just starts barking. Not really a great moment for that film, and I compare a lot of films to that. It's like, you have good moments, but then you have this other one where it's just sort of this irrelevant, loud barking dog out of nowhere. And there's a couple of those too. So not everything that is a quote-unquote jump scare in this film is actually related to the smile effect, I guess I'll call it, the it follows effect. Some of it is just to screw with you, just because Parker Finn hates you. So yeah, I obviously am not a huge fan of the film. If I had to discuss whether or not the film works or not, that's on a completely different level, because for a lot of people this film will work, which is why I can't tank the score on this. I didn't hate the film. I really didn't. I'm making fun of it, but that's because it's a little too dumb. It's a little too close to a film that's already existed, and he plays it kind of willy-nilly with the with the jump scares. He's like, throw in another jump scare. Like, I wish the film was more inventive or creative. There was a better ending to this film, I thought, in my head, but it ends probably the least interesting way possible. It's not necessarily, and it doesn't even really make sense. I didn't really fully go, oh, cool, I'm glad we did that. You know, there was a better ending, and we didn't go for it. I could say why, but I'm not. I won't say how I would have made the ending better, but I'm sure if I was having a conversation with Parker Finn, he'd be like, fuck, I should have done that. God damn it. Like, I was like, yeah, dude, you totally missed. You almost had it. You actually set yourself up for like a really solid, like full circle moment. And I don't think he realized he did that. I really just, I don't think he was just like, yeah, let's go for this ending because this ending's cool. All right, good for you. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the movie because I can't spoil any of it for you. But gory, scary in imagery. It's really well described for a film that relies heavily on disturbing images. this film does a great job of telling you the things that she looks like. She sees some rather inhuman looking images, things that do not look real, that are not like people. Those are described really well. She sees things happen to people that are described really well. And that is where this film lies. You're not going to get a whole lot of, she steps outside wearing a blue cardigan and walks to her red Subaru. It's not that kind of a film. But when it goes to into the horror description is fantastic. It's just, this film knows why you're here for it, and then you're here for gore, and you're here for scares. So it describes the scares. I didn't feel like any of the narration spoiled any of the jump scares either. Sometimes, I've heard a couple times where the narration starts a little bit before the jump scare, so it kind of lets you know that there's a jump scare coming. And it'll be like, the man leaps out from behind the closet, and then you hear the sound, and you're like, bring, and you're like, okay, so the narration came before the jump scare. Gave me a heads up. So, but this doesn't do any of that. So it's really good narration. So I will give a thumbs up to that. And actually, another reason why I'm not tanking this film is I've watched a lot of horror films, and I've watched a lot of, because of October and trying to get through Halloween, and a lot of other films that have tried really hard. And it's really hard when we can't see the horror. You really have to describe it and the gore, and to set up the moments and everything. And a lot of films have missed the mark for me where I thought it was a well-written film. This one was not as well-written, but there is something to be said for a blind audience and jump scares, because some of these jump scares do come in out of nowhere, and they involve a lot of just sort of randomness and loud noises. And for a blind audience that can't see the stuff that would make a sighted audience jump, when we're going just by sounds and how that thing works, I have to say that the cheapness of it all actually would kind of work a little bit more on a blind audience. So I don't know, maybe this is the perfect film for blind people. Maybe this is a perfect scary film. Maybe Parker Finn is destined to create jump scare films for a blind and visually impaired audience that can't see the horrific imagery on screen, but just needs oddly timed loud noises to scare the shit out of them, along with a nice thematic build of what is happening, what's behind door number one, that kind of thing. So I know this is a really long review, but I had a lot to say about Smile. I didn't want to just pass it off as being just like, oh, I didn't like it. No, I mean, there are complicated reasons why I do and don't like this film, why I respect it and don't respect it. It's all over the place for me, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say that this film is more successful than it is, but I'm not gonna. There's no standing ovation for this. You took a film, you took a plot idea that's already been done, and you just changed the catalyst for it, and you just remade It Follows, but with like a different reason for why the thing is following. So I am gonna go Smile with a C+. Yeah. There's, really not a ton to be excited about here, but it may or may not be your thing. And I'm not going to say it's not your thing. So for a lot of people, I understand that you love it, and I think that's great that you love it. Please watch It Follows. Also, if you love this and you haven't seen It Follows, please watch It Follows. I actually think that's the better movie in terms of what it does. A lot of people have made fun of the fact that in It Follows, it kind of moves slowly. Smile has kind of made up for that in the fact that this creature does not have to move slowly. But It Follows, it's always moving. You know, it's always coming. It never stops. And it doesn't wait. You don't have 4 or 5 days to get ready for it. Anyway, that's it. That's my review. If you stayed this long, you must like me. So please click subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the year, and I'm 15 away. So I am almost there. I have a month and a half to get 15 subscribers. I feel like I'm not going to do it, but I feel like we totally could do it. So I'm just going to keep saying it and will it into existence. You can also visit my website, macmovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. It'll let you know who narrates stuff, you know, your favorite films and TV shows. So that's it for me today. I gotta go review something else for you guys, but I will see you on the other side.